Welcome to PA Timber Goose. Today is August 14th. Another beautiful Sunday morning. Lots of road noise behind me. I apologize for that. It's a very busy highway. Today we're cutting up some firewood, and it'll be for the Char Griller. Basically, they're maple limbs or hardwood that came off of the neighbor's tree that I trimmed. And one of them is responsible for breaking my big toe. So my last laugh will be cut it up and I'm going to burn it in a Char Griller, cook some juicy burgers. This would be the end of the limb. Got landed on my left foot and broke my toe. It bounced off my shin bone and came right down on my toe. I should have had my leather boots on with my steel toes, but it took out my toe. My toenail finally grew back, and it's been about a month and a half, so this is going to end up in the grill. Going to split them down, and this is the old axe I was going to use, and this axe is very old. This axe my dad bought when I was about 10 years old, and he used this for cutting out stumps, and I believe this is the third or fourth handle. I'm responsible for breaking quite a few of these while we were splitting wood for the wood stove. But from over the years of all the use, there's a lot of pieces missing from the blade, and there's a lot of gnarly gashes in there. I was going to grind this and sharpen this. And the head's kind of wobbly. There's 3 or 4 nails in the end holding that on. So you always have the chance of this coming off while you're swinging it, and you don't know where it's going to land. The hickory handle is about $20. And I believe years ago we used to pay $5 or $10 for them. So I don't know if the handle's worth $20 or not. I prefer a wooden handle. I can hold on to it much better. It feels better in my hands. This would be a 3.5 pound axe. So $20 hickory handle. And right next to that is this beauty. There's only one left at Home Depot. It was calling my name. It has a 3.5 pound head. Fiberglass handle, has a nice rubber grip to hold on to. Proximia, it's very sharp. Not all axes are the same. For splitting wood, it doesn't have to be very sharp, but you don't want the blade to be round. This has a pretty good edge on it. Some of the axes that you buy, I believe if you buy a Fisker axe, there is no edge on there, and that would be for a safety reason, so nobody gets cut on it. I think they're trying to avoid a lawsuit. Not all axes are the same. You can buy better axes if you're cutting trees and shaping lumber. You can buy a Scandinavian axe, which basically would come from Finland or Norway. And Scandinavian axe steel is very hard. A lot of carbon in there, and they shave like a razor blade once you get them sharp. A lot of the timber competitions where you see them cutting the sides of the poles out, and you put the board in it and you climb up it as you go. A lot of those are Scandinavian axes. They are razor sharp. And I don't need a high-end axe like that. A Scandinavian axe might cost $300 or $400, and they are very shiny because they're really hard. So the harder the axe head is, the sharper you can get that. But we're just going to split some maple today, and I have cut-proof gloves on. You can lose fingers with the axe very easily. You can lose a thumb. You can do a lot of damage to your hands. These don't have a very high cut rating, but every little bit helps. These are pretty nice gloves. These came from Home Depot. Usually you can get 10 pairs of these for about $10 or $11. So they're about $1 a pair. I wear these at work a lot, and they've saved my hands quite a few times. This giant beam here is quite a big piece of timber. I found this while I was fishing along the Brandywine after a major flood. This was washed up in a debris pile, so I figured sooner or later I would use this for something, and I found a perfect use for it. I'm going to split some of this wood with it. I'm going to use this for a base to split some of the wood so it's not in the dirt. Every time your blade hits the dirt, it will dull your blade, whether it's a knife, a chainsaw, or an axe. Very cool this morning. About another month or so it should start cooling off. And looking forward to getting out in the big woods. Definitely has to cool off. My shirt is soaking wet already. So let's split some of this wood and we'll stack it up. This little pile of wood here is equal to about 3 bags of charcoal. It doesn't look like much. Charcoal is becoming very expensive. So mixing some wood and charcoal together. This is becoming very hard. The Sawzall had some problems cutting through it because it's starting to dry out. This cuts very easily with the Sawzall when it's still green, but as it dries it becomes very hard. Alright, so we're going to split some of this with an axe. So stay with us. This is a 5-pound box and it's pretty hefty. So what I want to do is I want to make this smaller so when I hit it with the match, it'll burn much faster. I want to get them to about this size so they burn much quicker. There's a resin in this wood. It's kind of like birch bark. There's no chemicals in this. Basically it's pine resin. So what I like to do is, you can just see me cutting myself with this machete, can't you? Let me turn the camera down here. You can just see me taking a chunk out of my hand with this, can't you? So what I do is I put the blade on that wood and then take take a hefty piece of wood like this and then it splits fairly easy. Sometimes it splits straight, sometimes it doesn't. I'll use this to light the grill later on today when it cools off. This is fairly easy to cut. It smells really good. It smells like a pine air freshener. Make a nice little pile here. It's very nice outside today. Cool weather's right around the corner. You don't need a lot of fat wood. It's extremely flammable. You only need a few pieces when you're starting the fire. It's waterproof, it floats. And this is my fire starter of choice now. This is always in my pack. I have a little bundle of this because it weighs almost nothing. Okay, here's 5 pounds of fat wood. All split and ready to go with my trusty machete here. And usually what I'll do is, anytime I go out in the woods and I want to cook with a firebox, I always have a bundle of these in my pack. Usually what I'll do is I'll take a couple rubber bands like this and just make a little bundle here. And that's my fire starters. It's waterproof, nothing special, and it lights right up. Put some of this back in the box here. Stack it back in the box. Probably around 4 or 5 o'clock we'll light the Char Griller up. I stopped at a local roadside stand yesterday. Got some fresh sweet corn. Put that on the grill. And we got a watermelon for about $4. August is usually the end of the watermelon season. So if you want watermelon or cantaloupe, this would be the time to buy them. If you want local produce, usually after that you can't buy any more watermelon unless it comes from another state. But the local always support your local farmers. It helps them out a great deal. We buy a lot of produce from the local stands. Route 10 has a lot of produce stands up around Honeybrook. We buy a lot of our produce from the stands up along 322. There are many of them on the side roads. You'll see little signs outside. Just follow the signs and get yourself some local produce. Box is almost full. I'm probably going to fill this box up because I split it. That's what we got so far. This is about 5 pounds. And the loose stuff here is what I put in the grill. The ones in the rubber bands are the ones I use when I'm hiking or I'm in the woods somewhere. I just grab a bundle and put that in my pack. We'll put the rest of this in here. I was working on my garden this morning, pulling some weeds out, pulled up the rest of my potatoes, and I heard a buzzing sound behind me and a very high-pitched chirping sound. There's a spider coming down out of the tree. Some kind of bug, a worm, I don't know what that is. Looks like a caterpillar. And, I was working along and the buzzing got very close. I turned my head really slow and there was a green-throated hummingbird watching me. I have a very large butterfly bush and I guess he wanted breakfast on the butterfly bush and I was interrupting his meal. He came over and checked me out. He was a few feet away and then he took off. Hummingbirds are very active in August and September. They're getting ready to migrate south. So they're very active right now. Okay, that's our box of fat wood. See my wood pile here. There's my pile of wood. That's equal to about 3 bags of charcoal. My fat wood split here. We're all ready. Sitting under a tree in the backyard enjoying the shade. So thanks for coming along today. Hopefully you enjoyed this short video processing some firewood and some fat wood with a Char Griller. Thanks for watching today. Like, share, and subscribe. It always helps the channel. Comments are awesome, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching PA Timber Goose.